Welcome back to the Virtue Bowling Supply YouTube channel. My name is Chris and I'm here to bring the high rev perspective.
And my name is Josh and I will be bringing the low rev perspective.
Alright, today we're going to be taking a look at the brand new Storm Hyroad 40 and I'm going to be comparing it to the GB5 Pearl and the Hazmat Pearl.
And I'll be comparing it to the GB5 Pearl and the IQ Tour AI. These comparisons will give us and you an idea of what these pieces look like going down the lane. At the end, we will give our honest, unbiased review and rate them anywhere from nuts to trash. Today we are here at Mesa East bowling on a fresh house shot, and with that being said, make sure to like and subscribe and we'll see you out on the lanes.
Alright, just wrapped up throwing the Hyroad 40 and seeing this one go down the lane, it really reminded me of the Idol Cosmos just because of the color. Seeing that kind of tealish color go down the lane, I thought this one looked really good shape-wise. It really wanted to be that clean, weak shape, but also be really rounded and kind of blendy off the end of the pattern. I feel like that's something the original Hyroad Pearl did really well, and this one does all of that and more. I feel like this one might have a little bit more traction on the lane than the original, so I really wanted to see it kind of go through the pins, but it also wasn't too continuous. It was pretty forward through the pins just because of how rounded it wanted to be. So now I'm going to go ahead and throw the Hazmat Pearl and see how that compares. All right, after seeing the Hazmat Pro go down the lane, this one's quite a bit stronger of a shape. I needed to play a little bit further left just because I needed to find a little bit more oil in the front part of the lane, but I could really see how this one wanted a shape in the oil more than the Hyroad 40. I feel like I almost needed to get the Hyroad 40 to the friction for it to really want to start up, and with it being rounded and really blendy off of it, it looked a lot better when I opened up my angles a little bit more. The Hazmat Pearl, if I got it to the friction, you could tell it kind of wanted to almost lock up a little bit just because of how strong it wanted to be. So the Hyroad 40 is definitely a step down from the Hazmat Pearl. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and throw the GB5 Pearl and see how that compares. After seeing the GB5 Pearl go down the lane, I feel like these fit a very similar part of the bag. I just think the GB5 Pearl is a little bit quicker to friction. I think it's a little bit more down lane as well. The Hyroad 40, it wanted to get down lane, but it also wanted to be really rounded and blendy off the end of the pattern. I feel like the GB5 Pearl just didn't want to blend the cliff as well as the Hyroad 40, just because it really did want to see the friction just a little bit more. All right, final thoughts on the Hyroad 40. Now personally, I really like the Hyroad line. I feel like I've thrown almost every single one that you can. I just personally like the Hyroad shape, and I feel like this one is going to be just as good as the rest of them. For me, having that weak, clean piece that's still versatile is just really something that you can be confident in when you need to ball down and really kind of shape it. So for me, I really like this one going down the lane. So for this one, I'm gonna have to give this one a fire. It looked a little too good not to give this one a fire, and I'm really curious to see how this one shapes up on different patterns as well. So I'm really looking forward to throwing this one again.
Just wrapped up throwing 10 shots with the Storm Hyroad 40. Felt like this ball, just right out of the box, kind of reminds me of an Idol Cosmos, just looking at it. The little different shape going down the lane, but I would say it's a little smoother than most Hyroads that Storm has released. I've thrown the original Hyroad Pearl and I felt like this one hooked a little bit sooner, but still had that same kind of quickness off the end of the pattern. I felt like I did have to be on the softer side. If I got quick, it missed it a little bit. But again, keeping more straighter angles, I felt like it was a little better. Keeping it in the oil a little longer, because getting it to friction, it did like to make a jump pretty quick. But it gave me a really good ball motion. I felt like I had a couple boards of misroom down the lane and was able to get it off spot, even had a couple messengers in there. So now we're gonna go ahead and throw 5 shots with the GB5 Pearl and see how it compares. Just threw 5 shots with the GB5 Pearl. I felt like these balls were pretty close. I just feel like the GB5 was just a hair bigger of a ball. I felt like it picked up about a half a foot to a foot sooner and was a little bit more forward off spot, but again, like really, really close. This is one of those things where I would only pick one of these to be in my, they are almost identical. There's no reason to have both. So now we're gonna go ahead and throw 5 shots with the Storm IQ Tour AI and see how it compares. Just threw 5 shots with the Tour AI. I felt like this ball was the biggest out of all 3 that I've thrown. It was a smoother shape, but way sooner and a little bit more forward than both of these balls. It wasn't my #1 choice for what we're bowling on right now. I felt like I threw it a little too late or past its time in transition, so it was a little too big for where I was playing in that part of the lane. But again, it gave me an okay shape, just not my #1 choice out of the bag. So final thoughts on the Storm Hyroad 40. I felt like this ball, again, gave me a really good ball motion for what's out there right now. I don't necessarily see myself throwing it on a ton of patterns. Again, I am a little bit lower rev. I would probably want something a little bigger than this, but it still gave me a really good shape, going to be good for a lot of high friction centers, which we do have a lot of here in AZ. But again, definitely a ball that is just a hair bigger than the original Hyroad Pearl, but a pretty darn close replacement. With that being said, for today, my final rating on the Hyroad 40 is going to have to be a fire. I felt like this ball gave me a really good shape. Again, there was still a couple shots in there where I didn't completely love off my hand, but even with that, it still tried its best to at least get 9. And again, when I can throw a ball not at 100% and it's still trying to do the right thing, that's when I know it's a good ball. So a fire for today.
Thank you guys so much for watching. If you found this video useful, make sure you like it, subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one.